easy.
Welcome to Out of the Fog. I'm your host, Lori Lydia Lovelace. Tonight we have a very special edition with the mayoral election coming up on October 2nd. We have candidate Danny Breen in the House speaking about a few issues that we have and to answer a few questions for the upcoming election. It's going to be a great show. Stay tuned.
At Rogers TV, we know our community thrives because of the incredible people who support it. Today, we want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all our amazing volunteers. Your hard work, dedication, and passion make our productions possible, bringing local stories and events to life for everyone to enjoy. Whether you're behind the camera, in the control room, or helping at events, your contributions are invaluable. Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.
Welcome to tonight's episode. We have a very special guest tonight, and it's for the mayoral election coming up on October 2nd. We have with us candidate Danny Breen. Welcome, Danny.
Oh, thanks very much. Great to be here.
Yes. So for those who may not know you, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born, raised in St. John's. I was born on Prospect Street. In the east end of St. John's with my 6 brothers and sisters, mom and dad. Dad was a longshoreman and worked later in life at the Secretary-Treasurer of the Longshoremen's Protective Union. I went to school here, was educated at Memorial, graduated later in life in 2016 with my Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. Worked in the insurance industry for many years. And always been involved in the community. So I was president of minor hockey, chaired school councils. I was involved in the Heart and Stroke Foundation and various other charities, always involved in the community, former vice president of the student union at the university, and worked, of course, at the Breezeway Bar and worked with the student union full-time after that. In 2009, I always wanted to try politics, so I ran for council and was elected in Ward 1. 2013, I was re-elected. 2017, I decided to run for mayor, and 2021 was re-elected again, and here we are in 2025, and I'm looking for my 3rd term in office.
Excellent. So, and tonight we're going to be asking a series of questions for you for the upcoming election, of course. So we'll just get right into it. So what would your vision for the future of St. John's be, and what specific direction would you set if you were elected again?
So I think when we look at a vision, we have to look at what St. John's is. And St. John's is about heritage, it's about arts, it's about creativity. It's about reliance on the ocean industries that have happened. So building around that and building on our strengths, we also have a very thriving tech sector that's really flourishing here. We have a lot of innovation happening. So I'd like to see St. John's take advantage of those opportunities that present themselves. We've taken some steps to be able to take advantage of those opportunities through regional economic development and other things. But I think also in terms of development, we want to see a more developed downtown, a revitalized downtown. Downtowns go through ebbs and flows, and I think we're a bit of a downside right now. But I'm excited about the opportunities that exist with St. John's, and also make it a city where people can work, people can play, and people feel where they belong. And I think that's my overall vision for St. John's.
Perfect. So now we're going to focus on affordability and the cost of living. So St. John's residents are feeling pressure from, raising housing costs, property taxes, and day-to-day affordability. What is your plan to make life more affordable for families, seniors, and young professionals?
Yeah, so when we look at affordability, and a lot of affordability issues lately have come around housing and inflation, and certainly housing costs have increased. The cost of building housing has increased. Nobody has a real answer to that. That's not something that can be solved with one policy. It's a whole bunch of different things. So we've done some work in creating more density in the city, giving more options to housing choices, letting people, for example, with micro units, people that may not need full-size houses and prefer a smaller type of living, to have access to those. So those are some of the things that we're doing along that line. Taxation's an interesting one, because 75% of the revenue the city gets is through taxation. And that's a very old fiscal arrangement that we have with the provinces. I think that we need to get more money from the other levels of government. I would like to see them share some of the HST on a per capita basis. And what that would do is do two things. First of all, it would encourage us to participate more in economic development, because you get a return from it. But secondly, it also takes the pressure off property taxes as the only source of revenue for the city. So if you were we're experiencing increased costs just like every household. The price of salt, I think, doubled, road salt, over the past years. Pavement, costs of asphalt, and cost of construction has also increased. So we're struggling with that, with those increased costs, the same as a household would, being the end user. So I think if we were able to get some revenue there to take the pressure off property taxes and reduce our reliance on property taxes as our core piece of revenue, I think that would really be help and provide some better affordability for the residents.
Excellent. So now we're talking about development and urban planning. So, there's a lot of vacant and underused buildings that remain a challenge in our city, of course. So what concrete steps will you take to encourage redevelopment and renewal of these spaces?
Yeah, so the work that we're doing around the Housing Accelerator Fund is we're encouraging creating subsidiary units in houses, additional ones. Backyard suites is another area that we're looking at. And when we look at the downtown, we're trying to we just developed a heritage plan that's going to be approved by council, or come before council for approval soon. So I think that what you're going to see is a more of a focus on creating housing in the downtown. I think the secret to the downtown, as we try to grow it, is to get more people to live there. Because when more people are living there, that's when the amenities arrive. That's when you get grocery stores and you get pharmacies and those things. So we really want to focus on creating more residential development in the downtown, especially now with different working arrangements. There's less people, companies are using less office space. So even converting some of those buildings to residential some of those office buildings will be also a great step. But there's some great opportunities downtown, and I see that it's going to become a very thriving place in the future.
So a lot of businesses and developers say getting the permit process is a little bit delayed. So how do you plan to address that? Yeah,
so in the first quarter of 2026, we expect to have our electronic permitting system in place, which will speed up the issuing of permits. But it is a process, because we want to make sure not only that we're getting the developments done, but we're getting them done properly, and that they're sustainable and they're going to be there in future years, and we're not going to have to worry about giving to another council the problems of poorly planned development. So we spend a lot of time with developers. We spend a lot of time reviewing plans and making sure that the developments are sound and that they're done properly. Because once that work is done, once those pipes are in the ground and the streets are built, then they're the city's and the taxpayers' responsibility to maintain. So we have to make sure that they're being done correctly up front.
Excellent. Seems like a well-versed plan, which sounds incredible. So another thing that we really want to touch on tonight is, the growing concern about crime, addiction, and safety in the downtown and core and beyond has been obviously a problem these days. So while policing is primarily provincial, what role should the City of St. John's play?
Well, I think one thing that happens, and there's a couple of parts of governance with the city and the different levels of governance that needs to be kind of pointed out. First of all, the mayor has no specific power. The mayor is one of 11 on council that gets a vote. The mayor does have some other responsibilities and speaks for council at times, but generally it requires a vote of council. So collaboration is key, and collaboration happens at every level. It happens between councillors going to work to collaborate together to get things done. We need to also collaborate with the other levels of government because the other levels of government do have the tools that we need to access to solve these problems. I always say a quote I use all the time is that the federal government has the money, the province has the jurisdiction, and the city has the problem. Yes. So it means that we have to work with them to get the solutions to the problems. And we do that very well. We did it this summer with the RNC. We did some great work with them. They added some downtown patrols, added some extra patrols in some of the parks that we were having some specific problems with. And I just saw where they're going forth with a pilot project on special constables, and I think that that's a very important piece to the puzzle. And I'm also hearing it's even something that's recognized by the parties in the provincial election, because they are all talking about adding police resources. But it's not all about policing. There's also the courts, and the courts are overtaxed. And I sit on the Big City Mayors Caucus and the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Board of Directors, and we're working with the federal government on bail reform for repeat offenders. So, you know, municipalities have a role to play, and collaborating and lobbying and doing that work. We don't have the legislative ability, and we don't have the fiscal ability to be more directly involved in those types of arrangements.
Excellent. So looking ahead, where do you see the biggest opportunities for economic growth in St. John's?
Well, I think the creative industry, whether that's the movie industry. If you look around town, you see a movie or a TV show being done all the time. So that creative part is really important. I see the ocean industries continuing to be a huge part of our economy. The tech industry, startups, the ingenuity. You know what? We are a creative people, whether it's the arts or whether it's the tech sector or ocean science. We've always had to use ingenuity and innovation for ourselves to deal with problems that we're presented with. And I see that as a real big opportunity for us. So recognizing that, last year we formed Advantage St. John's, which is the our St. John's Paradise and the town of CBS. And what we're doing is we're getting together and saying, look, we can do more by working together and collaborating, again, cooperating with each other and marketing the whole region. Because something good that happens in Paradise is good for St. John's. I mean, you look at the recent announcement of the plan for the soundstage and production facility in Balleen. That's good for everybody on the Northeast Avalon and in the province.
That's right.
So I think we need to start thinking like that. I tell people, you know, I'm not interested in competing with Corner Brook and Mount Pearl and Paradise. I want to compete with Halifax and Calgary and across in Europe. That's the cities we should be competing with.
Yeah. So if elected, how would you help support local businesses, smaller businesses, and entrepreneurs? Yeah,
so I think one of the things that we are doing with entrepreneurs, and we did that a little while ago at the Railway Coastal Museum, was partnering with the Genesis Innovation Center in putting some workspaces in there for people with ideas who are pursuing those innovative ideas. So that's one small way that we can do that. We also do it through Advantage St. John's and looking for opportunities and ways that we can partner with different companies through there. In the retail and the hospitality sector, the downtown pedestrian mall has been a big benefit for the restaurant sector in the downtown. And this year we took the price of renting the space, the city space that a deck may sit on. We forgave that because we wanted to encourage more, because with the Canada Summer Games coming, that we wanted to have more capacity in the downtown. So that was one way in which we help businesses get prepared for that. Also bringing in events. So if you look at the Canada Summer Games, it was a huge success. We don't have the final financial numbers, but it was really good. The concerts, the Churchill Park Festival, the George Street Festival, the regatta, they're all now tourist attractions that people are coming for. And this winter, when it's pretty slow time in the hospitality sector, we'll be having a Briar in 2026. And Brad Gushu last week made that a little bit more interesting for everybody. And we're also celebrating in the 2026 Briar the 50th anniversary of Jack McDuff winning the first Briar.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things to celebrate here, and we can use our attraction of people in tourism, bring in events in those off months to help the business sector as well.
Excellent. So now we're going to discuss infrastructure services and accessibility. So from snow clearing to potholes, residents often, judge the city on those basics. So where do you see the biggest service gaps, and how will you improve them without, dramatically raising the cost?
So last year we invested in more equipment for sidewalk snow clearing. So before we had one shift that was working, and then we added a second shift. But you really can't add the second shift without adding to the equipment. We also had equipment breakdowns, and it was time to reinvest in that fleet. So we made those investments in sidewalk snow clearing equipment. And I think that we saw the benefits of that last year. Now, we never had a really, really bad winter, but I think we got generally good feedback on that. One big transportation project we're taking on now is the shared use path. So the shared use path is now, I think we have about 8 or 9 kilometers done. It's moving ahead very well. We're about to start another couple of pieces of that now in putting that whole network together. And it's going to be snow cleared and it's going to be lit. So it's going to be a great addition to the city when it's fully done. And people right now are using it, and they're giving us tremendous feedback on that. So that's the kind of thing that I think people really wanted. They wanted to be able to connect in the city, and they wanted to be able to go out, whether it be on a bike or to push a stroller, or people with mobility challenges being able to get along easier. So we were able to partner with the federal government and be able to get these projects done. So I think that's a really big addition to the city.
100%. And speaking about accessibility, so that does remain a barrier in the city, of course, so from sidewalks to public facilities. So what actions will you do to make St. John's more accessible for people with disabilities?
So last year we initiated our I think it's a 3-year accessibility plan.
Yes.
Where we mapped out where we saw the accessibility challenges in the city and our plans to take care of those challenges and initiatives that are taking place. Shared use path is one of those. You would also notice that when we're replacing sidewalks, we're putting in some measures to help people who may be visually impaired or to at the crossings, at the corners. The tactile plates, I believe they're called. Yeah. We've also, if you've seen during this election, the opportunity for accommodating people with braille needs and other needs like that. So we have an inclusion team and an accessibility plan, and our staff are going through that. We spend a lot of time at events. You look at the downtown pedestrian mall, changes that we made it there to make it more accessible. Remembering too that we're dealing with an older city, so it is a challenge, but we're committed to make it accessible. And I think we've made great strides in the past number of years, and we're going to continue to work on it.
So another big thing, we had the fires of this year, and we've had severe climate issues, becoming more common. So, how would St. John's prepare for its infrastructure budget for these types of climate change?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we're doing this year is we're started the planning on a new full-time fire station in the Goulds.
That's right.
So that project is underway, and that will improve the fire protection coverage in that end of the city. Also making sure that our equipment is up to date. that we have new pumper trucks that have been recently purchased. Also making sure in our developments, and it's very, we have a lot of trees in this city. We're known for having a very green city and a lot of trees, covered in trees. So it's important that subdivisions have secondary accesses, that we're able to evacuate people if they need to be evacuated, and also if fire trucks are in there and things get difficult, that they're able to come out of those areas. So we build those into the designs that we're approving for neighborhoods. So it's part of that development review that we talked about earlier. So, we have two plans. We have a sustainability plan, that's a corporate one, of how the city is going to be sustainable. And we worked on a community sustainability plan called Resilient St. John's. And we worked with our community partners in how we could help the community and how we could collaborate again on how we're going to address the climate change, but at the same time looking at the infrastructure that we have, whether it be below ground or above ground, to deal with the effects of climate change.
Excellent. So, one thing that we see a lot of, like, people feel disconnected with City Hall with their voicing and their opinions. So, what reforms would you bring to improve transparency, accountability, and efficiency if elected?
Well, let me just run through some of the things that we have done. We have brought in the committee of the whole system. So now we don't have separate committee meetings happening. We have all the committee meetings at once. So 1 week you have a committee of the whole meeting, which is all the committee meetings. Next week is the regular council meeting. Both are live streamed. Both are on our website to watch later. And as well, if you go to an agenda and you want to see the discussion on a certain item, you just click on that item and you can see that discussion. So we've been able to open up our discussions to the public. In terms of engagement, we have a very robust public engagement platform. We engage on many different issues, not only developments, we engage on shared use paths, the construction of different facilities, get public feedback. We usually produce a what we heard document, which then goes out to the public and the public can have a look at it, then give us their feedback before we make the final decisions. So there is a lot being done, but you can always do more. And so we're open to all those ideas of how to become more transparent. We also introduced a code of conduct, which governs the activities of council and staff. So that code of conduct is posted on our website. There's a mechanism there for anyone that has any concerns to make complaints, and there's a process there for those complaints to be heard. So we have gone through a significant change in council over the years, and I feel that we've really opened the doors to City Hall and we've really allowed people to see the inner workings. There is one private meeting that council has weekly, and that's to deal with human resource, legal, and intergovernmental issues. But that's all on that agenda. So there's no decisions made at those meetings on issues that should be discussed in the public.
So, having that connection, those feedback, so how do you keep, the residents informed about budgets and other information?
Yeah, so we have an email system. We're on on the social media channels, Facebook, whatever. We try to reach out to people in the method that they're most comfortable having us reach out to them in. The city guide is very popular. People get their information on the city guide, especially the schedules for the rec centers, etc. So I think that it's always a job, but it's also a job of myself and the members of council. We're out in the community all the time. It's one of the things about municipal politics. Municipal politicians are at the grocery stores, we're at the events, we're known to the public very easily. And I can tell you, the public are not shy to share their opinions with us at any time. And that's probably one of my favorite parts of the job. Yeah. So it's something, those interactions are great. People drop me emails, send me Facebook messages, whatever it is. And they have some suggestions, and we take all of them in and see what we can do.
Excellent. So at this time, I'm going to ask you to take a minute or so to, talk to your voters and to our audience and, tell them why they should vote for you during this election.
Well, I've been on council now since 2009, and so I have experience. I have the leadership capabilities. We've been through some tough issues. We went through Snowmageddon. We went through COVID. And that leadership, I think, is important, especially at this time. The council that you'll elect will have at least 4 new faces on council, and we'll probably have other councillors, if they return, have limited experience on council in the last couple of years. So I believe that experience is really important. Leadership is important. And the whole basis of council is based on collaboration, whether it's internally, externally, with the staff, with the other levels of government, with community groups. And I think that's one of my strengths, is collaboration. We need to work on problems together. And as we always say in Newfoundland, when we all go at it together, we can get whatever we need done. So I ask for your support on October 2nd.
Well, thank you so much today, Mr. Breen, for being with us, and we wish you all the success.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be right back after this short break.
This is Rogers TV. You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
Thanks for tuning in to tonight's episode. We want to thank our guest, Danny Breen, for coming in to talk about the municipal election that is happening on October 2nd. But stay tuned, because Rogers TV is going to be doing live coverage of the results right here. Don't forget to vote. Until next time, much love.
We want to hear from you. Provide feedback on this show or find out how you can get involved. Call, email us, or scan the QR code to take our quick survey.
Summer days, summer nights, lots of things to do, places to go, and people to see. If you're having a few drinks, be sure to plan ahead and get home safely. We don't want to pick you up. Drinking drivers risk injuries to themselves and others and take chances with their license, their jobs, and their future. Remember what's at stake and choose your ride, whether you're the driver, the passenger, or the party host. Thanks for supporting sober driving. I hope we never meet.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
You're watching Rogers TV.
My dad was a railway porter. It was just about the only job a black man could get. But he had big plans for us. Music would be our ticket out of poverty. I knew we couldn't afford that piano, so I practiced twice as hard.
Nice, Daisy. Okay, Oscar, let's hear it.
Turns out I wasn't half bad. Then I found jazz, or it found me. It wasn't all easy, though. I faced a lot of hate, but I found my stage. They call me the man with 4 hands. Well, I don't know about that, but let's see how far this ticket takes me.
From Montreal to Carnegie Hall and far beyond, Oscar Peterson became one of the most recorded and celebrated jazz musicians of all time.
It's closing time, and you stayed out longer than you planned. So now you can't drive, and the buses have stopped